Welcome back to Table Talk. Barry Crotzer is a Columbia native who has been an agent with Homeland Security since 2008. Before that, he was with the Columbia Police Department for 29 years. We are proud to have him at this table. Agent Crotzer, thank you for coming in. Appreciate your service to our country as well.
Thank you. I appreciate being invited.
We'd be remiss if we didn't have somebody here from Homeland Security and talk about just 2008 is when you started with them.
Sure.
Talk about the changes in Homeland Security from then till now and kind of the primary directives.
Well, our primary responsibility is anti-terrorism. That's what our job is. However, over the years, we've had to take an all-hazards approach to things that are going on in the world because they rapidly change. Technology changes, crime patterns changes, criminals change, and some of the folks that are trying to harm us, our way, our life, and our country, they change as well. So what we've had to do is look at an all-hazards approach. Like we actually, there are some individuals that may have a terrorist nexus. Maybe they're trying to find ways to make money. They'll get involved in traditional crime. It could be robbery, could be burglary, could be the drug trade, could be human trafficking. So what we've had to do is take a different approach to how we in Homeland Security investigate these things. Now we work with locals. I mean, it's the local police, local sheriff, state agencies, federal agencies. That's who we work with. We partner with everybody, and those partnerships are gold, because without those partnerships, none of us can do it by ourselves. And that's the thing about Homeland. We call it a team of teams because working with all the other agencies, the private sector, we do so much work with utility companies, TVAs, the school system. And those partnerships that we develop, that we continue to work with and network with, are the things that make our jobs a lot easier for us, because that's who we work with, and that's who we're here to assist, is the local communities.
There are so many things that we can talk with you about, but we're going to kind of hone in on two big subjects here, and hopefully we can get you back sometime soon and talk about even more things that your department is involved in.
Sure.
We're going to be focusing on, Karen's going to be talking a little bit later on about active shooter situations. I know that's something that a lot of folks will be very interested in. Something else that hits a lot of folks every year is identity theft.
Absolutely.
And so in doing just a little bit of research, I guess I was surprised at how many different types of ID theft there are. Child, tax, medical, senior, social. I guess I'll just kind of let you take one or all those and kind of run with it. But identity theft, such a problem.
It is, and actually I was assigned to an identity crimes unit from 2012 to 2015. That's all we did. We did identity theft, document fraud, those kind of things. And it is just amazing that how the criminal element that can come up with ways to steal our information to benefit from it. And it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's actually the fastest growing crime in the world is identity theft. It's easy for them. It doesn't take a lot of work. And the thing about it is, Brian, we call it ID obesity. There's so much of our information that is out there in the whole world, and if we don't manage that, and if we don't try to take care of our identity, then a criminal can come in within a few minutes, a few seconds, a few hours, and can steal everything that we work for. And you know, most of us work our whole life to build our identity, and within just a few minutes, thieves can ruin that for us. And a lot of it has to do with just us managing that, and that's the thing. Just like the right now, this time of year, it's income tax fraud. From January to about April, May, just income tax fraud, where somebody gets somebody else's, and I'm sure there's listeners today that have been victims of it. And there's nowhere that I go that somebody's not been a victim. I've been a victim myself, twice. And they'll get our Social Security numbers, they'll file a fraudulent tax return, they'll have that money sent to another location, and they've got that money on a card, and by the time I go file my income tax, and with whoever's doing it, the IRS is going to go, you've already filed yours. You filed yours in January. I went, no, I didn't. So then it starts the process of trying to figure out who did that. And sometimes you can find it, and sometimes you just can't. It's not easy. And the medical is probably another thing you mentioned.
That surprised me. It really did.
Is, you wouldn't think it. Insurance fraud and what's happening, you could, you've got all of our information is out there at our doctors, out there at our clinics, and that information is in these systems. Now, you would think and you would hope that those systems are protected in the medical field, but we're seeing all over the country where these things are getting hacked. Shoney's was hacked just the other day, and all that information. And that's the thing about it is we can work so hard to protect our identity and manage it the best we can. And then maybe somebody, and we've seen these breaches at these big major companies, right? We've seen it where human error has caused these things, not some master criminal hacker, which we have those, but human error can cause this as well. And it's just us having to manage. Just like we ran into, anybody's got young kids, everybody's got that Social Security number. And it's amazing that we found out in some of these cases where a kid may be 5 or 6 years old. By the time he gets 16 or 17, they want to use that Social Security number for a job or buy something. They got 3 pages of credit on it, where somebody got that child's Social Security number back when he was 5 or 6 and has used it all these years. And those are things that we have to manage, and we can do that.
You touched on child ID theft, making it all the way up to senior ID theft, and I'm sure you guys get hit with that a lot as far as people taking advantage of senior citizens.
Absolutely, and they do, and then a lot of the seniors are naive enough to give them. And one of the big things now, Brian, that's going around, and y'all seen it here, we've seen it all over, is these IRS calls. The IRS they will call you and say, you owe us X amount of money, you messed up your income tax, you need to go to Walmart, get a green dot card, and put it on there. Well, they're targeting a lot of seniors because seniors can be naive, and they go think, well, maybe I talked to a gentleman that ended up giving $15,000. He was a preacher at a church, and he thought, Barry, maybe I did mess up my tax return. And ended up, they kept asking him for more money, and that's what will happen. They'll go after seniors and go, "Hey, you didn't pay your income tax," and that's been advertised all over the news. It's been advertised in a local paper, and people are still doing it. They're giving them that money because they feel like, well, I don't want anybody to think that I didn't do my income tax correctly. And they'll target those just like they do. You know, they'll, like today it's raining, they'll target seniors. They'll go in there and want to blacktop their driveways for them and charge them an exorbitant amount, and then it washes off when it rains in. But they'll target those seniors because they know the chances are they're probably going to get some victims from them.
A lot of folks have Facebook. A lot of people will use social media. You know where I'm going with this.
Absolutely.
Social ID theft. That's a very real thing.
It is probably one of the biggest things out there because we're putting all this information out there for the whole world to see. And that's another thing that you have to be careful with. You know, social media is powerful. And if you got Facebook and you got some of these other social media sites that you use, they've probably been hacked. Somebody's been in there looking around, and they will do that. You have to use all the security settings that's in there available to you to minimize. The bottom line is we're going to be victims. It's just too much out there, too many criminals out there trying to get our information. The chances of us being a victim are fairly good just because of the amount of our information that's out there. And what we have to do is minimize our risk, because the quicker we can identify the possibility of us being defrauded, the quicker we can get on it, call the local police, get reports, and minimize the damage done. The longer we let that go on, there's actually cases where somebody can actually take over a whole nother person's life, and that's occurred as well. And it's just watching and using all security measures that you can use on those things. And, you know, I've seen cases, you know, we've seen a lot of the social media. You put, you know, you go out of town and you're putting all these pictures where you're in Florida. Somebody knows you're not in Florida. Your house is there. I had one particular case where a guy did that, and all he did was email. And they hacked into his email, found out that he was going to be gone, sent an email to the bank that he banked at, asked them to transfer $13,000 to an account in Dallas. And the only reason they didn't do it is there was a real sharp customer service lady at that bank. And this gentleman, every time he sent her an email, they were friends, always had a smiley face. With these 3 emails she got back to back, not one of them had a smiley face. She calls him and goes, "Hey, did you really want me to transfer?" And he went, "What are you talking about? I'm at the beach." Where they hacked into his email, knew he was going to be gone, and tried to do this diversion. And fortunately, it didn't work, and it was just because they had that relationship and she didn't see that smiley face. But it's everything is, any social media we have out there, it is acceptable to being hacked in and getting information from us.
I'm sure there's lots of preventative measures that folks can do, but if there's probably, I'm guessing if there's one big thing folks can do that are watching this program right now, is stay on top of your checking account. There's so many people out here that don't check that, and through online banking that so many banks offer, it is so easy now to stay on top of your account.
Exactly, and that's what happens. And a lot of folks that we talk with victims, we talk to, did you check your account? Well, no, I get my statement. Look at those statements and see what's on there, because a lot of these individuals will try you. They may do a couple of things before they do the bank takeover. Look at your credit card statements. Look at those things and see what doesn't belong. Sometimes you'll see what doesn't belong on there. If you get mail, don't just throw. You get some. You think it's just junk mail. Look at that junk mail, because what we have found out, these individuals, they'll go do a change of address on me, and they'll send it in. And what they'll do, then they'll order credit cards in my name to a whole nother address. Well, whatever company may send me a letter and go, did you really change your address? I think it's junk mail, and I throw it away and tear it up. Well, when that happens, they're probably going to send that to that change of address. Look at all your mail, check all your mail, put alerts. Credit card, on your credit cards, you can put those, monitor those alerts on there. If it goes over a certain amount, you're going to get an email, you're going to get a text, was that really you? Do the same thing on your debit cards. Those alerts are gold. Because they'll notify you if something's going on with your account, whether it's a bank account, whether it's a credit card account, whether it's a JCPenney's account, or whatever it may be. They'll notify you.
If there's more information people want to be able to get on identity theft, I dare say that there are numerous websites and numerous agencies that they can reach out to get more information about this.
The Federal Trade Commission is the U.S. Federal Trade Commission. You can go to their website, the Federal Trade Commission .gov, and they are the overseers for identity theft for our government. They have tons of information. They got training on there. They've got tips on there. They've got, if you do become a victim, they got the reports that affidavits that need to be filled out to get with your local police. You can go to the big three credit bureaus, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Those are three big credit unions. You get 3 credit checks a year. You get 1 credit check a year for free. They have to give it to you. If you use all 3 of those, you can get 3 free credit checks a year through Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And a lot of people don't know that. But use that, take advantage of that. And most of us, if we go check our credit, there's probably something on there that doesn't belong.
Thank you so much. This has been 12 minutes of really valuable information. And so I know that the beautiful part about this is that we're going to have at least 12 to 13 more minutes of very valuable information. You're not going to want to touch that dial. I'm going to slide out, but Karen Wilson's going to slide in. And we're going to have information on how to deal with active shooting incidents with Agent Crotzer. More on Table Talk right after this.